Ah, good morning, good morning. You already know who it is. Talking to individual CJBK out here making my money as I try to, as freely as I can, because with this type of job, it's basically you, your bike, and the rest of the world. So, that's the part I hate about when you riding with a bike with cargo. Is like the moment you stop, now you got to put in that effort just to start pedaling again. That could actually be applied to life. Don't you hate when you done got yourself set up to do something, then you're in it, you're going, you got your wheels turning, got your momentum flowing, then all of a sudden, here comes something to make you press the brakes. Now you got to get everything back going again. Well, the beautiful part about acknowledging that is that's a part of life. Life is filled with stops and starts, peace and turmoil, stops and starts, peace and turmoil. As humanity continues to descend itself into technological enslavement age, because basically that's what's happening right now, is because slavery in itself has been advanced from the typical chains and links and things of that sort. We're now at the point where they can basically create a false sense of freedom for every single person on the planet, right? They figure, well, as long as you're on the grid, you're a part of the technological age, you're, allowing the uses of technology to be a great part of your life, that's how they basically got you. Is because once you live in an environment that depends on the things that they use secretly to weaponize against you, then that's pretty much how they got you. Think about it like this. Do you think that people who live in, let's say, not to call them tribal, but what do you call it? Very agriculturally based communities, people that the Amish or, very small villages, do you think they deal with gang stalking? Like those who don't have electricity, they don't have cell towers, do you think they deal with gang stalking? I bet you not. Why? Because they don't necessarily have those tools, those transmitters, those instruments built around them to basically influence them. Then more than likely they're probably more connected to the spiritual world without the use of technology than any of us, really. Something else. So as I continue to meet new TIs and I continue to strengthen myself, putting on a full armor of God every single day, what's tending to happen is, well, what we all kind of know, the more you know, the worse it gets, is they become more agitated, more frustrated, to the point where they say, okay, everything that we've been doing, it's not working enough, we're not breaking them fast enough, or he's, I don't know, maybe he's recovering faster or stronger than we thought. So they basically decide, all right, the spots we've been hitting, just amplify the frequency some more. Focus more energy on that area. So they've been going a lot harder and more consistent on my left knee. It's not that the pulse itself became more painful, but it just became more consistent. Before it used to just be like, you know, they'll affect the knee, like they'll have a frequency targeting the knee, my left knee, during specific moments throughout the day, or whenever I'm trying to do something in particular that involves me moving around. Because remember, the use of the technology is to basically immobilize it. It's to basically make you stationary so that you feel like you can't move, or you don't want to move, or it hurts too much to move. So what they do is they make it so that you are basically a sitting duck. You know, this is one of the reasons why I say it's important for TIs to just keep moving. Not even necessarily because, oh, you know, if you sit still, it's easier for them to target you. No, you're allowing the energy that they're focusing on your body and into your body to just basically settle. You know, remember, your body is a very, very powerful and miraculous healing machine, you know, and your body still uses and expels energy, but you gotta encourage the body to want to get rid of what it doesn't need, you know. So like right now, like I feel the stiffness in my knee, but because I'm pedaling, I am basically using or expelling the energy that they're focusing on my knees, right? When I'm riding, I feel fine, you know, but what I realize, what happens over time is, well, if that doesn't work, like let's say I haven't had any back problems since, you know, I clocked out from work yesterday. The only times my back really bothers me at all is the moment I clock in and I start to want to, you know, do some work, you know. And I don't do too much heavy lifting, not that much. But for the most part, it's manageable. It's nothing out of the ordinary or whatever, you know. So, but the one thing that I notice is whenever I do start to feel that stiffness in my back or whatever, I just take my hand and I reach around to my lumbar area and just give it about 3 to 5 seconds. Next thing you know, I feel a frequency attached to my lumbar area. So it's definitely not uncommon, at least not to me, to know that they are focusing frequencies on my back to supposedly make it harder for me to work, or to make it more painful for me to work, you know. And you know what, I'm actually really glad I don't have a desk job where I'm sitting down all the time, or a security job where I'm standing still all the time, because that would just make it even easier for them to just basically, you know, debilitate me or whatever, you know. But hey, for the most part, I'm still out here doing exactly what I said I was going to keep doing since they first came after me in October of 2020. And y'all motherfuckers in the Bronx, y'all not slick, y'all not undetectable. It's just that people are actually afraid of you, and I have no idea why. I'll be back. Yeah, so, then, you know, I was listening, I was cooking my mother some dinner last night. I made her like some chicken stew, roasted Brussels sprouts, and I got some like leftover jasmine rice, and she could just like pour the stew over the rice. And I was listening to this like healing frequency. It was like archangel, remove negative energy from your home and everything. And all of a sudden, then I always be forgetting where it came. Nope, not that. Hold on. Alright, take care. Bye-bye. Yeah, so I was listening to, and I noticed like when I listened to that, You can find it on YouTube. There's a lot of frequency videos people are not like, taking advantage of. And every time I listen to this Archangel Remove Negative Energy, frequency video, it makes me feel like something is being lifted off of my body, like almost as if like when I tell you like there is some very hateful negative energy around all this technology and stuff. That's what it truly is. Remember what I told you about loose energy? Loose energy is basically the production of energy that is focused on fear, anger, guilt, shame, all of those things that people hate to feel. They're basically trying to produce that out of people who was never really focused on it. And what do they do that for? They do it because they want you to fear them, But here's the other thing you want to also remember is we're dealing with people who basically, let's just be real about it. They basically messed up their own lives, right? They basically messed up their own lives. And now someone basically told them, hey, if you help us perfect this technology, we will make your life a lot easier. And it's messed up because it's like they're not going after people who are offenders or people who are actually, destroying humanity. They're going after everyone who makes humanity better. They're going after everyone who basically have a moral compass. They're going after people who will basically call you out for your bullshit. They're going after those people. Now, here's the best part about what I'm also telling you too is it's not unknown and it's not no secret and it's not like it hasn't happened in the past before, where in the past many people, you can look at Christians, Muslims, whatever. If you had a moral compass or some type of conduct about you that basically stood for everything that was just right, like you believed in right and wrong, and you didn't necessarily bend your will to the to all those who whatever. It's like this is basically what we're dealing with. We're dealing with people who their whole idea is they don't want to actually change from being the misguided and corrupted people that they are. They would rather actually just make everybody else just as bad as them. Because if bad becomes the new normal, then they don't have to feel bad or guilty about anything that they do. This is why they do everything that they do to try to induce you or entice you to go against yourself. I'll be back. I got like 4 apartments in this building. All right. So, yeah, like I was saying, they basically are trying to make everyone just as bad as them so that they no longer have to feel, in a sense, like they're ostracized. Like think about it like this. As if people don't do enough bad all on their own. It's almost as if, well, they still feel like it's unfair that maybe they've been ostracized because they did like worse things than most other people would, and that they're maybe, pulled out or being, separated from the rest of the world for their own decision making. And you know what? I'm calling bullshit because there are so many stories of people who, spent years in prison and they bust their ass. They went to school, they did whatever they had to do And then next thing you know, there's stories where, somebody started their own business, and I mean successful, whether it's a restaurant or a clothing line or whatever the case may be. Then you got stories where people basically, I don't know, whatever, like they probably had a track record of doing a lot of different things, but then at some point maybe they came across the right person, and then now they're making better decisions. They're doing better, in life in general. Not because they just got better at doing bad things, but they just actually, chose to, work smarter and not harder. Whatever line you want to use for encouragement or whatever, that's basically what happened. But now what they're basically saying is, I don't know, maybe they feel like they're like they're a dwindling population or something like that. Like it's not enough people doing bad because it's starting to seem like it's unfair that there's so many people not doing as bad as they are. So what do they got to do? They basically try to transform those who would never do, or who, and for the most part, wouldn't do what they would do. And they're basically they're not even encouraging them, but they are providing incentives, with whether it's money, access to resources, because they basically employ people to work in certain sectors of our society who control resources, whether it's human resources, employment, food, housing, whatever the case may be. They basically are employed within our society, law enforcement. They're basically employed in almost every sector. So then whenever you come up, they're like, this is the guy or the woman that doesn't conform. He or she is not eligible to receive quote unquote human rights or access to human resources because she is not a conformist. That's at least one way I look at it. Another way I look at it is the military has been for decades investing large amounts of money into basically any type of psychological weapon, things that can basically reduce the amount of destruction that'll be caused to infrastructures. So if they can, they will use just about anybody who they can get to basically perfect the use of these weapons. They'll get anybody who they can. You need money? We got you with money. All you got to do is use these devices, perfect the use of it, and report the data back to us, and we'll make sure you're compensated. And they constantly keep telling me, we got a setup coming for him. He's about to go to prison. Watch, he's about to go to prison. Now, the thing about this whole he's about to go to prison, referring to me, is they don't even understand the level of godlike flow that I'm on right now. The fact that I already know that Christians for centuries have been persecuted by the popular vote, or Christians for centuries have been basically persecuted, hunted down like animals, killed in stadiums and coliseums for the enjoyment of others. We're talking about the Romans here. It's not like unknown history that those who actually stand up for what's right are oftentimes destroyed by all of those who basically love getting away with doing wrong. I mean, I tell people all the time, I've never really been like a preachy type of person, but I always just believed in doing what's right. Hold on, I gotta work. Okay, I'm back. So I figured I might as well just bust out the rest of my stops, and then I'd like, come back. But yeah, I kind of like showing my ride. I don't know. It's kind of one of them things that remind me I should get a GoPro. Because like the things that like people should see happening, like okay, this is all of this is gonna be off topic for a minute. But anyway, so like it's a huge pet peeve of mine when I see someone like I'm watching them come from the sidewalk and they're literally just like all on their phone. Like you would see them not even look up from the sidewalk, but they'll step into the street while still looking at their phone. And not even at least step into the street and stop, but they'll just keep walking and not look up for a car. Like if I do it, I'm probably like last second, as soon as my foot touched down on the street, my head pops up to look for a car. Now, hey, look, we all get sucked into a text message or whatever the case may be, but at the same time, I make sure I don't step all the way out into the street, before looking for a car. Anyway, so yeah, all of this stuff is like deeply Luciferian, like, connected. Because, I mean, think about how Baphomet and the Beast basically portray themselves. They portray themselves to be, these like powerful beings who basically will reward you for doing acts that God doesn't necessarily want you to do. God wouldn't want you to kill. God wouldn't want you to indulge heavily in, your sexual desires and, all those other things, greed and disrespecting like the homeless and things of that sort. Like not loving one another. They want you to actually feel rewarded or comfortable doing all of those things. And then if they can make the entire world like that, then it's kind of like, well, we basically have reached like hell on earth, really. I mean, really, like if you understand certain aspects of the spiritual realm and earth, you would realize that earth is actually the middle. Earth is in between both everything that's good and evil, heaven and hell, things of that sort. Earth is like the battlefield. Earth is the battlefield, Our vessels, our bodies are not actually ours. Our bodies, our flesh, it belongs to this world. Our spiritual bodies, our light bodies, do not belong in this world. That is why when you think about people who are low vibrational and, when they get attacked by you could call it negative emotions or dark emotions or whatever, or low vibrational emotions or a demon. That's why they're more easily susceptible to give in and indulge and actually react in a way that spirit would want them to react. Why? Because their vibrations are too low to actually fight back. Or they haven't actually developed that spiritual armor that they needed to be able to fend off or fight back from being manipulated by the things that operate in this world. Ephesians 2, I think it's Ephesians 2, chapter 2, paraphrasing, it basically mentions about how those who are dead in their transgressions, who work accordingly to the prince of the power of air, basically talking about, Satan himself. Those who control, the powers that are in the air are the ones who can basically control humanity. And what do we have? What do we have in the air constantly flowing that even though we don't necessarily see it, it's there? Frequencies, So it's like when you think about it, I should have stopped at 7-Eleven. When you think about it, any righteous, morally stable, and ethically sound person would not have any real urge or inkling in them to want to actually control somebody. We don't have the energy, the time, or the interest to want to control another human being. Why? Because controlling ourselves is already hard enough. Let alone if you have children, now you have to guide this child into a fair, understanding of the world so that they don't become swallowed up by the world, Then you think about how, you think about how a lot of, people basically just like, I don't know, they have no conviction for the wrongdoings that for their wrongdoings, they just do have no type of remorse. They don't like cherish life at all. They just basically do. They don't care who they steal from. They don't care who they attack. They don't, it's just so much that's wrong in this world. And then now we got people who are giving tools so that they can take normal people and then basically manipulate or modify the way that their brain responds to stimulation and then turn them into violent people or overly sexual people or people who are just like, they'll basically seem mentally unstable, whatever. And the sad part is they don't know that someone is doing it to them. Like pressure in the head, headaches and things of that sort. I'm starting to realize that a lot of the stuff may not just be our diets. If you're like I'm starting to really believe before you start to feel like you're sick, remember your hands are probably one of your most powerful tools for healing and, building things or whatever. But more importantly, your hands can tell you so much about your body and what you're experiencing. If you have a pain somewhere, just take your hand and just gently hold it over that area, especially if you're being targeted. And then just pay attention to your body, pay attention to your hand. If your hand feels like something almost with like a magnetic like feel, or like something is like attaching itself to your hand, or if it's trying to go through your hand, just know you're not naturally becoming sick. Someone is inducing sickness into you. Someone is inducing a pain into you. Someone is inducing, an ailment or whatever the case may be into you, But, hey, it's this guy. Yeah, just know you're being recorded. So, but, yeah, we out here just trying to do what we can to survive in this world. But, Paul, what's up? Yeah, I'll get back to y'all later. All right, back again. Got another route. Let's do this. All right. So, but yeah, so, I mean, for the most part, they're trying everything in their power to see if they can break me down, destroy me, make me to the point where probably can't move, or I'm in so much pain, da da da. But this is when you also got to remember, you and your body, even though it's together, like your spiritual body and your flesh body, even though they are both together, they are separate. This is why there's such thing called willpower. You don't get willpower from your body, you get your willpower from your spirit. This is why they're using technology that basically intertwines itself with spirit, with the spiritual energy or the energy of your body, because they're trying to manipulate your spirit so that you can't actually manually, or they believe that through their efforts you can't manually control your will, you know. And I mean, you know what, I can't understand anyone who can't see how evil the intentions behind this truly is. You're using technology to affect the will of a person, and it's like they're not doing it to enemy combatants. They're not doing it like out like I don't know. I've heard that they were using the technology to some degree during the Afghan war and things of that sort. But once they turned it against citizens, it's just like, okay, you really just let me know for sure that you definitely, you meaning whether it's the military or the government, and that's not just the United States. I'm talking about all countries and governments that basically have access to direct energy weapons, frequency resonances, all of these things. The intention was never to actually just use it for warfare. The intention has always been to control populations of people. Controlling populations of people, you know, manipulating their very own energy so that they can't actually pick and choose what they want to do. God gave us free will. We have the free will to choose and do whatever we please. Now, whether everything that you do, or majority of the things that you do, pleases God or not, well, that's between you and the universe to find out. If things just constantly keep going wrong for you, and you can't ever seem to find a relief, and you're not trying anything different, you just keep doing the same things over and over, then, well, yeah, quite honestly, that my mother would say, you know, that was the spirit telling you not to do it, but you wanted to be hard-headed. So, but yeah, I don't know. You know, people say, aren't you afraid? Aren't you worried about dying? You know, people end up going missing through this. You know, all of these things happen. And you know what? I grew up in Brooklyn, New York in the 90s on Putnam Avenue between Bedford and Nostrand. I grew up seeing so many things before the age of 12. I done seen some things. And then on top of that, you know, like, I'm thankful for it. You know, my mom, she put me in this program called Fresh Air Fund, where they basically take inner city children, and they let them go and live with some like family out in, you know, like, I don't know, it could be like Connecticut or some very rural area, you know, with a lot of, you know, nature and stuff. And they take the kids out and they do things. So it's like, I've seen sides of humanity and society. You know, I've seen what it looked like when people who were basically looked down upon or looked at as being, you know, lazy, or they're on, you know, government this and da-da-da. I've seen them be even better people than those who live in houses and have more than 2 cars. And I've seen some of these people act with more human decency than those who basically have everything, right? Keyword thing, everything, And, I'm not even gonna lie. When I was younger, I I might not have gotten handcuffs slapped on me, but maybe I was just a little bit more slicker about the things I used to do. Or maybe the things I used to do wasn't as big of a deal. I don't know what it is, but I've actually have done things in my life where, hey, if I would have got caught, I probably would be in the same boat as many other people. Now I didn't kill nobody or commit grand larceny or grand theft auto or nothing like that. No. But I'm saying, like, I don't know. I kind of grew up with a certain type of influence, and you know what? I guess I also had the right type of people in my corner to try to tell me, Chris, get out from this area. You don't need to be around here. Be a good dude. Don't be like us. Da da da. So I grew up with people that I looked up to, and they were out doing things. They were out doing things, and but they were also there telling me, no, you don't do these things, because we need people to just like, be different from us. So it's like, I'm not necessarily like someone who, I don't look down on nobody, honestly. But what I don't respect is people who are unethical. I don't respect immorality. I don't respect people who steal from people who already don't have much. Why would you steal from somebody who already don't have much? That's like, that doesn't make sense. That's like, if I got $1 and you got $1, you want to take my $1. When if you I don't know, it's weird. It's weird to me. You want to take my $1, but yet there's a guy walking right there who has about $80 in his pocket, but you want to take my $1. Come on now. Let me do this delivery real quick. All right, I'm back again. So it's gonna be the last one, so I can focus. But yeah. So I don't know. Like, I can feel that there's an energy shift happening in the world. And you know what? It's been dark for entirely too long. But I do realize this though, it's going to get even darker before it gets better. And that's because there's still too many corrupted souls in this world. So it's going to get darker before it gets any better. Damn it, stuck behind trash. Maybe they're almost done. Should have went outside. Anyway, all right, I'll just take this time to talk to you. But yeah, it's going to get darker before it gets any better, because there's still entirely too many corrupted souls left on this planet. And throughout history, whenever it seemed like, all the bad guys are basically controlling everything and running everything, and basically all the good people were hiding away, or it seemed like we were being killed off by the tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions. A reset has to be hit, like a major cataclysmic event, whether it's a flood or a major earthquake, or not necessarily economic destruction of the economy, because that only truly affects those who were already so heavily invested and dependent on the economy. Rather, you got a lot of people that were, that are basically living more heavily based on community values, growing their own food, things of that sort. They won't be affected as much. People who can, build shelters and things of that sort, they won't be affected as much. Everyone who basically have so much emotional ties and connections to material things, they will be the ones who will be hurt the most, because, well, for the most part, they didn't heed the warnings of just about everyone since they were younger, possibly. Whoever told them, the love of money is the root to all evil. They didn't heed the warnings of people who said, don't become materialistic, or else, you'll basically be more easy. Well, I don't know. People have said many different things. But is he going to try to reverse? At least let me know before you start backing up. Anyway, I got a van behind me, so you see she getting impatient. But yeah, hey, it is what it is, though. We are definitely, I think I got it on tape. I don't know if she actually, I couldn't tell if she actually hit his car, but yeah, damn. And I can't even turn around because I got this guy behind me. So yeah, I'm stuck here now. Oh well, I got 2 hours to do my deliveries anyway. I already got my route planned out. My next building is basically that tall one right there, straight ahead. Yeah, but all right, I think I'm gonna end it here. Just always keep in mind that no matter what, like I said in a previous video already, you are already beating them by 1,000. Why? Because they had to actually gather all of their resources, gather all of their intelligence, gather all of their agents, and then focus all of their attention on destroying you, one person. They put all of their attention into trying to isolate you, and they put all of their attention into, basically using artificial intelligence that could be doing so much more with life, or with the advancement of humanity and society, but instead they want to focus it on destroying your life. So just remember, you are already beating them by 1,000. All right. Take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.